adventure-style games. Beginning with this is Fractured Minds, a game released in 2017, developed by Emily Mitchell, a British game developer. It took her about 9 months to develop the game, and it's a game about kind of related to kind of mental health issues, something which more people do need to feel comfortable discussing if they do have those, and people need to be quite understanding about that. This is a game that won a BAFTA award in 2018, I believe, for the young game designer of the year, and proceeds from this game do go to a charity called Safe in Our World. This is on Game Pass, but also if you were wanting to purchase the game, it costs about £1.79 on Steam, and there is a little reduction on it on Xbox right now as well. It's available on all other platforms too, PlayStation 4, I believe it's on the Switch. And so yeah, it's an interesting game, on which we'll make a start with right now, for probably playing Dear Esther, another game that takes about an hour or so, hour and a half. And if we've got time, we may also play Where the Bees Make Honey, although it is still in the middle of downloading, so I'm hoping it'll finish by the time we get started. So for now though, let's get started with Fractured Minds, and I hope you'll enjoy it. I hope it'll help you think. Living life somewhere else in your mind is nothing more than being a prisoner where you are. So it deals with some mental health issues, anxiety and these sorts of things, by looking into some ideas of how people's minds alter what's around them. So, Chapter 1, The Mundane. And we wake up. We can run with the right button and the left stick, and also any actions that we want to take with the A button, as it says right there. This is Fractured Minds. That's a drawing that's perhaps a little disconcerting. And what can we find around the room? A red picture. Okay, and not much else. I don't know if there's much to see in the room, or if we're just supposed to... I think we'll leave. The door's locked. There must be a key here somewhere. Well, that'll be the key, right? Wrong key. This is where mundane issues obviously become very stressful and distressing. And as you can see, the picking up the wrong key repeatedly is very distressing. Is it really that hard? So yeah, even the most simple of tasks, or seemingly simple of tasks, can feel distressing, harmful. Once again, we've still got the wrong key. There's a key. It's not the right key either. A stressful key situation, and we've still found the wrong one. As you can see, there are plenty of keys around. I almost feel like nothing's right. Items on the wall can be moved. What else is on the wall? This. Aha. The right key at last. And with this, we can leave the room. Chapter 2, Emptiness. We have a birthday. Nobody there to enjoy it with us. Don't look so sad, it's a party. With balloons, and we can flip the balloons up in the air, but ultimately that becomes dull, stressful, even. And we have a birthday cake. We can open our presents and see what we got. Wear the blindfold. You have to make the donkey tail first. Well, there's the tail. And what's this? You can't open the main present yet. I've got the donkey tail, don't I? No, you idiot, you have to make the donkey tail first. Berating yourself for... You have to make the donkey tail first. I have the donkey tail. Can't open my main present yet. I have the donkey tail, why can't I? That door's locked. Is it possible to pin the tail on the donkey, or is it... Is there something else in that present? It says to wear the blindfold. But if I wear the blindfold, nothing happens. I've started it again, I don't know if that was the right thing to do. Emptiness. I didn't mean to start it again. Right, there's the tail. No, I have to make the donkey tail first. Well, I have the donkey tail, is that not all I need? I have the donkey tail. So what do I do? I found a pin. Ah, there we go. Now I've made the donkey tail. It needed a pin too. That doesn't really stop me from seeing where the tail is. Like there. Am I not allowed to... I think it's about there. What did you do? I've caused a storm. I did nothing, I just pinned the tail on the donkey. Can't open the main present yet. Blow out the candles then. And I get the key to leave the... What's that? The painting fell off. And we have a very scary person in the background. A representation of fears, perhaps? Let's move on. Oh, I like the rain. Chapter 3, we're in, I assume, or about to start. It distracts me. Okay. Distracting rain. Chapter 3. Comfort zone. We're inside our comfort zone, perhaps. Come in, make yourself comfortable. Oh, we had to go into that, we're inside the snow globe. Finding comfort in things which can't harm us. Oh, excuse me. Finding comfort in things which are not us, I guess. But what do I do? Where do I go? Is there a way out of here? Don't leave, it says. You won't like it out there, outside your comfort zone. But you have no choice. Paranoia, Chapter 4. What's wrong with you, they're saying. Should I cross the... Whoa. Cross the road? This person got anything to say? Lock equals something. Star, I. They're actually pathetic, do you know that? No, I don't. I don't know that. Leave me alone. Don't go after me. There's no reason. You must know it by now. Don't. An eye, some arrows, and like a variety of directions. Does anyone talk to me? It's distressing, obviously. Nobody wants to have any kind of conversation. Where are you going? I can't go there. Oh. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. These people have symbols on their backs. So if I get... That's one of them. I want the eye symbol. This one. And then the arrows pointing in 4 directions and in towards each other. Seeing symbols, or seeing conspiracies, seeing people hiding things from you. And this last one should open the door, right? It does. Get out of my way. I'm coming through. And now it's time. And the stress of time. Things going against you. The world crumbling down. Perhaps. And we're out of chapter 4 into another corridor of sorts. We're underwater, feeling pressure going down upon us. Feeling the pressure of the real world. Hard to say. Chapter 5, sinking, reaching the bottom. Don't go into the red lights. Okay. I'll try not to. The remote needs 2 batteries. That won't do anything, and we have to stay out of the red light. As long as it isn't following me, I'm happy. I'm looking for batteries. Try and stay out of those red lights, I guess. When will this red light go away? I need to watch out for when it's coming back. Oh, is it? It doesn't stay away for very long. That's not what I want. Ooh. Stay away from the red light. It's dangerous. Movement detected, alarm system activated. No batteries in there. Are they? Oh, there's a battery. Got time to pick it up? Can't. Why can't I pick it up? Will I be safe standing here out of the way? Or am I going to get... No. Good. Why couldn't I pick up the battery? We need to change the channel on the TV. I guess that's almost what it feels like, you know? Wanting to change the way. Why can't I pick it up? I can't move. I'm stuck. Okay, we got 1 battery. Is there any... Oh. Want to stay out of the light, as it says, so we need 2 batteries. Which will let us put things back on track, I guess. In the way we want them to. No battery in there, so we'll just leave this area now. But we clearly need to... What is it? Can't breathe. Need to see where that light goes. Okay, it's right there. And obviously if we step into it, we'll have issues. Oh, is that the... No, okay. But we can go up this way now and check things here, I guess. Oh well. Can we ever get to those particular cupboards? There it is. We got the other battery. Okay. So now we can use the television remote. Haunting your world. Living beneath its shadow, the invisible enemy. 0834? Can I do this? Password correct, alarm disabled. And we're good. And we're out, I guess, or trying to get out anyway. Uh-oh, he's pulled the plug out. And now we're being dragged down. Dragged down by the issues around us. Chapter 6. The monster. You've gone too far this time. There's a heart. You can't go back. What do I do? What do I do? Can I do anything with that? I obviously need to unchain my heart. Freaking out. Distressed by... Oh, now he's here. What was that? We're now trapped. Oh, do I need to get these things pumping again? Maybe. Is it working? Or not? Do we turn the ones that he's standing at? What do we do? Okay. I wonder. Let's turn this again. That just makes that one go. Did we get rid of him? But now he's in here. He's in the chamber of our heart. The monster. Darkness. Embracing or being filled with darkness. Facing ourselves. Or what we... the representation of ourselves, I guess. And that's Fractured Minds. As I say, a relatively short game, but an interesting insight into anxiety and other mental health issues. As I say, if you hide, maybe it can't hurt you, maybe. But not really. Let's forget that living with a monster makes you brave, that carrying its weight makes you strong, that it makes you who you are. You're its power, its life. Without you, it's nothing. A very interesting story and one worth watching. We can go back to the main menu now, and with that we will move on to our second game. So I hope you've enjoyed Fractured Minds. I'll be back in just one moment. What's the thing is? So, having played through Fractured Minds and the message it sends, which I hope people will take to heart and not feel that they can't talk about any issues that they're having, we move on to Dear Esther, a first-person adventure-style game again. This is the Landmark Edition, and we're going to play this as the second game in our stream this evening. Our short games stream. So, first of all, let's just have a look. Well, let's have the crosshair enabled, so it gives me a better idea where I'm looking. We want closed captions. I don't think we need them to be large necessarily. Just so we can hear what's going on. As for the controller, that should all be fine, I think. So, we're going to start now with Dear Esther, Landmark Edition. I'm not going to turn on the director's commentary for now, but we will play through it. This is obviously a slightly longer game,
Dear Esther,
an hour to an hour and a half.
I've lost track of how long I've been here, and how many visits I've made overall. Certainly the landmarks are now so familiar to me that I have to remind myself to actually see the forms and shapes in front of me.
An island.
I could stumble blind across these rocks,
It's like an old fishing
of these
village, or
without fear of missing my step and plummeting down to sea. Besides, I've always considered that if one is to fall,
toilet.
it is critical to keep one's eyes firmly open.
Food and Goods Convention. The crosshair's just really there so I can see exactly what I'm doing, where I'm looking at, isn't it? That's really the only reason for it, by the look of things. What's this book? Is that in... Is that... I don't know what language that's written in. Greek, maybe? Some playing cards that have not lasted very well. And what's this? A chemical formula of some kind. What's that? Carbon, hydrogen... I'm not too sure. Some sort of formula. I don't know if that's going to come in handy at some point or not. But that is everything to find in this little house, as we cannot get up there. We can't climb those stairs. Every button essentially just zooms in on what we're looking at. And here, not much, but again, some more of this paint spilled on the floor. Luminous paint. Okay. Luminous paint we find. That's a slipway we've just come up. I guess our only option really is to walk this way. But there's also an uphill path. So which path should we be going on? Does it matter? Okay, that's very far away. That, what I assume is like a radio tower or something. Where does that path take us? I wonder. I just don't know. We'll go and investigate this way first anyway. The waterfront. The seafront. Where we find... No, those are just rocks. I thought there would have been shells or something. Certainly some seaweed. Rockfall there. It's a game where you are very much stranded, left to your own devices, or baskets. Are those fishing? Yeah. In order to aid fish. doesn't look like there's much else here. So yeah, it looks like this was probably some kind of fishing. Well, it's an island, so
There was once talk
most of the income of islands.
here, away from the rage
A wind
and
farm.
intolerance of the masses. The sea, they said, is too rough for the turbines to stand. They clearly never came here to experience the becalming for themselves. Personally, I would have supported it.
There's still a lot to see around
Turbines
the
would be a fitting
beach.
contemporary refuge for a hermit. The revolution and the permanence.
Yeah. Oh, what's this? Another kind of symbol carved there. Some sort of curve followed by an arrow out the way. Almost looks like the motion of some sort of orbit. Hard to say though, to be honest. It stood the test of time anyway on a beachfront, somehow. So we'll continue.
I have found the ship's manifest, crumpled and waterlogged under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large
Guessing I
quantity
can't go any
of
further this
antacid
way.
yogurt bound for the European market.
Antacid
Must
yogurt.
have washed out to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
Bits of a car here. Don't suppose we can go much further this way, but there are some bits of a car that's somehow fallen down into this crevice, chasm. More of a crevice in the rock, isn't it, than a chasm? But that's everything that we can find along the waterfront. Rocks, strange symbols. So we've seen chemical formulae. We've seen some kind of... It almost looks like a... Is that not related to... Yeah, I'm not totally sure, to be honest. Like a golden ratio type thing? I could be completely wrong, and if I am, I apologise. But it's interesting nonetheless that these symbols are left. A Fibonacci sequence, maybe. Interesting. And I don't know, so I shouldn't have said anything. Right, let's go up here and see what we find on the cliffside. Does this path lead me to the other path that I could have come up over? Let's see. That's the building we came from originally, because that was the tower that you couldn't get up because of the lack of stairs. I would expect that I'm going to see a path coming up from the other way to here. Oh no, maybe not. I don't think you could have walked that from there. I wonder if there's anything down there worth seeing. Well, let's just go this way. As this is our ultimate goal anyway, it would appear. Is that blood on the ground? Are those blood drops on the ground? I hope there's not anything I could have missed going that way.
A wonderful sight. The moon cresting the junction between the cliff path and the stone circle. It cast a shadow of the ridge across the beach.
The moon?
All the world as
Stone
if you'd
circle
signed
where?
your name in untidy handwriting.
Could sign my name in untidy handwriting. Oh, that's every day for me. Every day. Okay, so there's not much to see here. Is that newspaper? Newspaper on the rock face. Some, like, cliffside with white kind of cut-out sections there almost.
Was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they
Well,
could
that's why he's
sacrifice.
telling us why.
They cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or
So this is
fishing
to
boats,
know
and notice and aid
that someone
or
might be
impose a
ill.
cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the
Wow.
cliff path died along with its hosts.
So
My
it was a
lines are
case
just
of
for this.
abandoning people.
Keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is
Yeah.
not simply of the flesh.
So they cut that to warn people of impending doom, plague, or some similar thing. We've got two paths here. I can't really see what is on that other one, but it looks like you could go
I quote
to either a
directly,
standing
a
stone.
motley lot with little to recommend them. I have now spent 3 days in their company. That is, I fear, enough for any man not born amongst them. Despite their tedious inclination to quote scripture,
It's very
they
much a
seem
sort
to
of
be the most
narrative.
godforsaken of all the inhabitants of the outer isles.
I suppose you'd call it
Indeed,
a
in this
walking
case,
simulator,
the very
wouldn't
gravity
you?
of that term, forsaken by
Not that that's a
God,
problem.
seems to find its very apex. It appears to me that Donnelly, too, found those who wander this shoreline to be adrift from any chance of redemption. Did he include himself in
Drift
that
from
number?
redemption. It's a little extreme, isn't it? Forsaken by God. If that's something you worry about. So are we going to have to like walk around the entirety of this island to find direction? Certainly we're coming around behind the buildings we started at now. Doesn't look like this goes anywhere though. It'll probably switch back on itself at the bottom. There's a cave. Maybe we have to go in the cave.
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton.
I'm guessing we have to go
Drank
this way
coffee in his
first.
kitchen and tried to connect to one another.
Coffee in Wolverhampton, eh?
Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution.
That'll take me deeper,
he
probably
still
towards that
spiraled in
the
panic,
circle of
thrown high
stones.
and lucid by his own dented bonnet.
But what's in this
Responsibility had
cave?
made him old.
Can we get in
Thus,
the cave?
He'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
We want to go that way, probably.
This hermit,
Past
this
beyond
seer,
life.
this distant historian of bones and old bread,
Hermit?
where did he vanish to? Why, asked the
Okay.
farmers. Why, asked Jakobsen. Why bother with your visions at all, if you're just to throw your arms up at the cliff and let it close in behind you and seal you into
So
the
some
belly
sort
of
of
the island, a
shamanic,
museum
sort
shut to
of
all
druid
but the most
almost, I
devoted.
suppose, was on this island? And was this what, made them forsaken? And why are there chemical formulae on his wall? Some sort of creature. I don't know quite what that is. Almost like something tearing through the fabric of space. So what is this? What was trying to tear through into this world? What was this guy doing? More luminous paint in the cave. There's a cave up there on the rock face. But I don't think there was no way to get to that, was there? Unless maybe there's a way to get there later. From elsewhere on the island. Well, let's go up this other path and see what we find. It's a long walk on an abandoned island. Well, so far abandoned anyway. How abandoned is it? I guess we'll find out. Is this the case that those two lines cut into the cliff was due to some kind of plague? And if so, does that mean there's nobody left on the island because they all died of this plague and now it's safe to go back to? There was an island, I believe they did that with, I can't remember the name of the island, but it was anthrax or something on the island, and they left a load of sheep there.
Of the sun, and the solar radiation cooked my heart from the inside.
Can't remember the name of the
My
island
teeth
or
will curl and my fingernails fall
what
off
they
into
were
my
doing.
pockets like loose change. If I could stomach, I'd eat, but all I seem capable of is salt water. With
You
the
can't eat
night
salt
boxed
water, drink
away,
salt
I could
water.
turn feral and gorge. I'm as emaciated as a body on a slab, opened up for a
You don't have to
premature
turn
social
feral, you
death.
could just...
I've rowed to this island in a heart without a bottom, all the bacteria of my gut rising up to sing to me.
Nice. It's a nice image. But obviously if the island has nothing usable on it, then it becomes a difficult place to live. It's a bit windy. Oh, there's a book. Is that a Bible on the ground? It is indeed a Bible on the ground. At the stone circle. What's down here? Is this the cliff that the car must have gone off? And if it is, how did the car go down here? I don't want to risk going too close to the edge. Am I okay to go here? Yeah, that looks like the cliff that that car must have gone off. Or those bits of car must have gone off. So yeah, we're looking at playing, obviously, as we finished Fractured Minds there, we're looking to play this, Dear Esther, and if we have time, I'm in the middle of downloading a game called Where the Bees Make Honey, another adventure sort of game, told from an interesting perspective from what I can understand, but it is in the middle of downloading right now, so I'm hoping by the time we finish playing this game it'll be ready to go. And we've got time left to play it. But anyway, let's... Oh, this is the perfect place for an ambush, guys. Don't think we're going to be ambushed, though, on a deserted island. Only by seagulls, maybe. Oh. That looks dangerous. Can I go this way? I can't really choose my path, and I'm loading into something else.
Dear Esther,
So that's...
I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21
the
times.
first place we got
And
to.
although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my ordnance survey maps, I simply cannot find
Can't find the location.
You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome break services. But although I can always see it in my rear view
Near a
mirror,
service station?
I
Is that
have been
this?
unable to pull ashore.
Is that this? Okay, so what's this place? It looks like... Oh, there's some trawlers down there. Which way do we want to go? Down here, I guess. We'll go down here and see what's down here. There's a path up there too, so I don't know where we're supposed to go. But I suppose we're just supposed to investigate. Oh, I don't like the look of these containers. It's Return of the Living Dead 2 all over again. Vats full of zombies. Obviously not, but some sort of a repossession advice. I can't really read anything more than that. Possession order. Okay, looks like we should be able to go back that way to go back up, so let's go see what's down here, if we can. I assume that path over there takes me to the same place. Let's go over there first and see exactly where that takes me. It's very windy, as you might expect, on an abandoned island in the middle of the... Is it in the North Sea? I'm assuming so, because it just feels very... empty. It feels very like that kind of area. There's a noise of something moving. Probably something blowing in the wind. What does that say on the side of the boat? Any... What does that say?
There must be
And
a hole at
neither
the bottom of the boat.
did he
How
eat
else
nor
could the
drink.
mermaids have arrived?
Okay. So the boat says on the side of it, and neither did he eat. We? Must be neither did he eat or drink, right? I'm assuming. What does that mean? Are they just recounting passages from biblical stories to talk about their situation? What's that? That's not a path we went from, is it? What's up
I
here?
had kidney stones, and you visited me in the hospital.
I kind of want to see what the
After the
boat
operation,
situation is,
when I was
but
still half submerged in anaesthetic.
I'm going to go down to these boats and just see.
Blurred.
So I don't know
Now
if that
stones have
path
grown
takes
into
us
an island and made
to the
their
next
escape,
area of the map,
and you have been
or
rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
where. Don't think we can actually get on the boats, can we? Doesn't look like it. No, unless, well, could have done if we could have got on top of that, but no, it looks like there's no way to actually enter the boat. Right, so I want to see what, oh, that's path here will take us towards that tower, whatever it is. Some sort of radio tower by the look of it? Not too sure. If that's where we're going or what. Guess we just keep going and find out. This doesn't look like the way we came from, so I assume that we just need to walk up here. Because this is definitely not the same path. Where does this take us? There's two paths here by the look of things. One to the right that goes down. What does that go down to? Possibly another cave? Or to the edge of the cliff? It looks like the path rejoins this path further down. Another abandoned building. Let's just see what's down there. Okay, a house on the top of this mountain. Cliff, should I say. Let's just take a look and see if there was anything of interest on this path before we go up there. Just in case, you know, there could be a cave into the mountain side,
When I
or...
looked into the shaft, I swear I felt the stones in my stomach shift in recognition.
Wow. A very deep pit. We don't want to go down there. We most definitely do not want to go down there. Okay, so the weather's really coming in. We need to find some shelter, surely. A variety of paths here, but they all... Well, see, there are the remains of houses.
Away from the sea and towards the centre. It is
Moving
a straight
towards the
line to
centre.
the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence.
We want to go to the...
bothy
So we are
squats
going
against the
towards
map to avoid the gaze of the aerial.
those signals.
I
What's
too will
that?
creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern
Syringe. We got people coming here to take things they shouldn't. No, because there's medications there. I have no idea what they are, but we've also got... So this must have been used as some kind of... Either this was used as a kind of field hospital, or these are medications for horses, maybe? Kind of looks like it could have been a stable with some stalls in it. Maybe medication for animals of some kind. Not too sure. Let's move up the hill towards that house. And towards that flashing light and signal from a radio tower. Down there, be like a life buoy out at sea or something.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s.
Yes, a bothy on the
By
hillside.
then, shepherding had formalised into a career. The first
If you've
habitual
not been
shepherd was a man called Jacobson, from
in
a
the
lineage
wilderness of
migratory
certainly the north of
Scandinavians.
Scotland, where
He was not
I'm
considered a
from,
man of breeding by the mainland.
there's somebody up there. Somebody just moved into that
He came
house.
here every summer whilst
You might not be
building the
aware
bothy,
if you're not from
hoping
this sort of area
eventually
that there are a
becoming
lot
man
of these,
property would secure him a
as it
wife
says,
and
formerly
Donnelly
um,
records that it did not work. He caught some disease
farming
from his malcontented
homes on
goats and
hillsides.
died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the
Where
cliff
people,
for
when
him
they're
either.
hill walking, can go into to shelter. Some of them have more in them than others. Some of them are nothing more than a ruin, like something like this. Some of them are properly updated and improved so that it's almost like a home, if you like. And it allows people who are climbing or walking, as I say, to shelter. Interestingly enough, my
My
grandparents
heart is
used to go
landfill.
hill walking a
These
lot
false dawns waking into the still never light.
in these sorts of
I
areas.
sweat for you in the
And
small hours and wrap my blankets into a
one
mass.
time they did find in
I've always heard the waves
one of
break
these
on
places
lost
somebody
shore,
who had
always the
unfortunately
gulls forgotten.
succumbed to
I
the
can lift this bottle
elements,
to
I
my ear,
guess.
and all there ever is for me is this Hebridean music.
So it's dangerous, you know, to go wandering in places like this without proper preparation. I'd always tell people, if you don't know... Oh, an ultrasound there. Birth of children before this civilization was devastated by whatever's wiped them off the face of the island. So yeah, these are very much something that you can see. Not a kind of series of them as such, but usually a building like that may have a fireplace. I would advise, though, anyone who does want to go to any of these places or use any of these places, it looks like a fire was there, to please clean up after yourself. If you want to make use of any. There's that formula again. Only without the chemical symbols on it now. With some arrows. Pointing in a variety of directions. Come quite far. So let's go this way, towards this broadcast tower or whatever that's up here. Looks like we've got a long way to go. Well, let's go down here and see what we can find. Another cave. This doesn't look like the way to get up towards that radio tower. Looks like a very dangerous path. And that it would be very slippery in bad weather. Oh, cave down there. Maybe we have some way, when we walk down here, of entering this cave that will allow us to climb up. Or maybe this is the end of the path. No, the path does still continue. I say path, it's a rock face. But, you know, it's enough of a rock face that we can climb down it. Laudanum and syphilis.
I've been unable to discover if the former was a result of his visiting the island or the force that drove him here. For the
Wow, this
syphilis,
is a narrow
a
path.
drunk driver smashing his insides into a pulp as he stumbled these paths, I can only offer my empathy. We're all victims of our age. My disease is the internal combustion engine and the cheap fermentation of yeast.
Cars and beer, apparently. That's his. That's his intake. A real man's man. Don't know what to make of using that phrase sometimes. It's a little cringeworthy, isn't it? Perhaps, but not really.
They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though
Now someone's carved some stairs. Are they carved or is that wood?
Right down to the nerves and had not
And these are
even begun
carved
to decompose.
out of the
His fingernails
hillside.
were raw and bitten to
Yeah, I
the
reckon we
quick.
have to use this
He
cave to
found
get
the
up.
phosphorescent moss that grows in the caves deep under the nails. Whatever he'd been doing under the island when his strength began to fail is lost. He'd struggled halfway up the cliff again, perhaps in a delirium, perhaps trying to reach the Bothy's fire before curling into a
And he
stone
just
and
couldn't make it.
expiring.
I wonder if these were poisonous mosses. These mosses that he found. Some sort of spray primer? Spray enamel. So why? There's an awful lot of paint cans and things around here. And the remains of a ship's hull. Very much a skeleton of a ship's hull. I guess we're following the cave then. Although, it doesn't look like there's a straight path into it from here. Maybe there is. Or maybe I have to go all the way around the edge of here.
I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected.
There's almost the sound of music here.
The skin has turned a bright, tight
Probably the
pink,
wind
and
going through the
pain is
caves.
crashing in on waves, wintered tides against my shoreline, drowning
it's like
out the
music.
shape of my stones. I struggled back to
Or
the
a
bottom
radio
to rest,
signal.
but it has become clear that there is
What's
only
that up
one way
there?
this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose.
What is
They will
up
keep
here?
me lucid for my final ascent.
Nothing. No, there is something there. What is that? A suitcase of some kind. A load of books. Hebridean history. Some sort of salesman of books of Hebridean history, maybe? You know, like an encyclopedia salesman. He's arrived there and for some reason his briefcase has ended up at the bottom of a cliff. Did he end up at the bottom of that cliff at some point? Or just his books? Well, let's head into the cave. As it's the only other place we can go. All we have is the sounds of the sea ebbing and flowing, receding. Coming back in. Oh, there's some sort of light here. Is it just going outside, or is there some kind of... Are these mosses? These biophosphorescent mosses that they were talking about? No, there's a candle. Who lit a candle in here? It wasn't me, was it? Who lit a candle? How big was the candle when it was lit? I suppose is a better question. But surely wind would race through this cave. That would be blown out in no time at all. Oh my. I don't think we want to go down there. But up here, certainly. That does not look like a nice hole to fall down. Wait, am I not able to go up? Maybe it... Oh, no. I'm supposed to slide down that hole, am I? I hope so. Yeah, it looks like it. Jakobsen. Finish the chapter, The Boy.
Did Jakobsen
What am I looking
crawl
at
this
here?
far? Can I identify the scratches his nails ruined into the rocks?
He scratched into the
Following him,
rocks?
cell for cell, inch for inch. Why
Who
does
knows?
he turn back on himself and not
Please tell me I'm
carry
not
through
stuck
to
in a
the
cave
ascent?
now for the rest of the game. Unable to move. No, looks like we're okay. Right.